Hello and welcome, my Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus Sun. Welcome to your Timeless Soulmate read for January 2021, or Timeless. I am your reader, Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Join the Circle Productions, the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hi. Hey, my Scorps, how are you? I have a younger brother of a Scorpio. That was fun growing up, but I learned some tricks and tips along the way from him for sure. Welcome back, my subscribers. Let's get down to business. There is an extended version of this reading. The link is in the description box. It's on VIMEO.com. And I'm really enjoying doing the extended readings for the soulmate reads because these are the happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract reads. Keeping in mind that there are links in the description box below talking about what soulmates are, at least through the lens of how I have learned it to be over these many, many, many years of being on the path of true love. Soulmate is a type of soul contract, different than twin flame. There's a new definition that the spiritual teacher and Hay House author Matt Kahn brought through. I think it's genius. It cleans up the energy for me immensely. But essentially the difference between a twin flame and a soulmate contract, you have many of both. They're not all romantic, sexual. I know it's radical, but it's really healing. Hear me out if you're new to this, that the bottom line of a soulmate contract is you help each other heal. The bottom line of a twin flame contract, you teach each other how to heal yourselves, which looks good on paper, but in actuality, those are the turbulent, tricky. So all the people who are doing twin flame reads, they're reading twin flames. That's why they're also turbulent and transformative, right? But my father and I were a twin flame contract. My mother and I are a soulmate contract. So take it as you like. Either way, even if you don't want to adopt it, there's got to be something in here if you were led to this read, right? So let's get down to it. We're only doing 13 cards, right? We're going to use 3 Caroline Mesa archetype cards, the Daughters of the Moon Tarot for the Divine Feminine half, because it is a contract. Divine Feminine over here, Divine Masculine over here. Nothing to do with bodily gender or DNA that way. And the Mythic Tarot for the Divine Masculine. In the extended read, yeah, all of those are in there, so I don't stop for the extended reads until I feel like it's clear. So that's about it. It's a general read as usual. You know the YouTube rules, right? I have to say it every time I guess, because everybody does. All right, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and do check your other signs, right? Because you might get different information about the same soulmate contract, but if you got more than one romantic one going on, you might want to, because Lord knows I do. Oh, social media. So here we go. Keep your feet on the floor to the best of your ability. Follow your breath. And let's go deep, Scorps. Deep Scorps. Hashtag deep Scorps. Breathe. All right. Carolyn Mace, archetype cards. Choose my collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods. There you are. Ascended masters. And the higher selves of all involved. I need 3 cards for this Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract, January 2021 or timeless. Please give me 1 for the Divine Feminine, 1 for the Divine Masculine, this one, and 1 for the, I just got this morning in a conversation with Mal Flanders, the clause this contract is in for January 2021 or timeless whenever you're watching that. Isn't that cool? That just came through this morning. So it shows you where, and that will be the last card that we turn over, even though it is the first card down. So before we go any further, let's see who our happy couple is. All right, this is fine. Usually if it's something a little triggery, I will, bring that to the front, but I will warm you up first, right? But you've got the Divine Feminine as the Divine Child. Now that's going to be tricky for me to not trip over verbally, but I'll do my best throughout the reading. And the Divine Masculine Rebel. Really, this is kind of lovely. I mean, the child archetype everybody has. It's one of the 4 survival families. It is the one that tends to not freak people out in readings, right? Because, oh yeah, my inner child, right? But the other 3 are the victim, victor, the saboteur, empowerer, and the prostitute archetype. Read Sacred Contracts by Carolyn Mace, right? So this one I don't have to freak people out, but there's still a spectrum of shadow to light. That's why these cards can be triggering. So the shadow attribute for the Divine Feminine as the, I should say, this is how I'm really trying to say it. the divine feminine with the divine child archetype instead of saying the divine feminine, because it's a lot. Shadow attribute, an inability to defend oneself against negative forces, which, you know, a child can't. Like, just think of the psychic impact on the kids right now, just from 2020 and what's going on just this month alone, right? But the light attributes, innocence, purity, and redemption, suggests special connection with the divine. Now, I have the divine child. It's one of the schemata that I have. It's actually the goddess Harmonia for me. It's a long story. Wait till my books come out, darling. I've got reams and reams of stuff up here. But I get it. It's like, so there's an innocence here on the behalf of the divine feminine, right? Really connected. I'm not going to say this is going to be the more spiritual of the two, but I'm going to say if you have a special connection, right? Particularly if you pray to the divine in terms of mother/father or mother, father, God, goddess, Zeus, Buddha, Jesus. I'm at core, I'm a pure non-dualist, but I have fun with duality, which makes me a little bit of a rebel. Like I said, I only have, what do I have? A Neptune in Scorpio, so I'm not worried about me being in this one unless I'm in this with a Scorpio. The rebel archetype, and I do love a good rebel, don't we all? More when they yell. The shadow attribute, rejects legitimate authority out of anger, rebels out of peer pressure or fashion, which let's not touch that politically at the moment. But my favorite version of this is first there was punk and then there was new wave, right? So punk were the real rebels. New wave was like, oh, let's go to the mall and get something. Well, you know what I mean? It still goes on to this day, right? The out of fashion, right? Or peer pressure. But the light attribute I absolutely love, challenges authority to affect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not honor inner needs, right? So I dig that a lot. And certainly we're seeing a lot of that. The whole social justice thing going on planet Earth time, right? You know, it's like we've hit so many inflection points over the past year. I mean, like so many of them where the quantum just goes, okay, we're either going this way or that way, right? There's still infinite number of them in the quantum schemata of things. But that's why divination is helpful. It gives you a little GPS, right? View from above. So let's keep going. We're going to take 5 Daughters of the Moon Tarot, and we're going to do fire, earth, air, water, spirit for her to see where she is in this contract. We are going to do the same with the mythic tarot for the divine masculine. Let's see how this divine feminine with the divine child archetype, ooh, it's going to be tricky to say. Let's see what she's going on. Take a nice deep breath. All right, my goddesses of water in the sign of Scorpio, please. I need 5 cards, element spread for the divine feminine with the divine child archetype in this Scorpio collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract, January 21 or timeless whenever they catch this reading, please. What is her element of fire, which she yearns for, burns for, and desires? What is her element of earth, which she has within and or without to fuel that fire to help her get what she wants? What is her element of air, what she's predominantly thinking about this soulmate contract? Just one. I feel you are 2. I'll take top. They said take top, and I take top. I am 1. Breathe. And element of water, what does this divine child feel predominantly in this contract? And element of spirit, what is the voice or the point of view of the soul that agreed? What does their soul say about this? Now, before we turn those over, let's get the same for him. And please forgive the him and her. I say it every time. It's like, I don't want to get canceled over something like that. That's number 2. Number 1 is it just so my brain hemispheres don't implode on camera, right? It happens plenty enough off camera. Breathe. Oh, here we go. Ooh, I felt that my gods of water and the sign of Scorpio. Please, again, element spread, 5 cards for the divine masculine with the rebel archetype in this Scorpio collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract, January 2021 or timeless. Please Element of fire, what is it he yearns for, burns for? What is it he desires? Element of earth, what does he have to fuel the flame to help him get what he wants? He yearns, he burns for his element of air. What does he predominantly think about this contract? Element of water, what does he predominantly feel about this contract? And element of spirit, what is the voice or the point of view of the soul, his soul, that agreed to do this? All right, let's flip them over element by element. The divine child and the rebel. Well, there's definitely an air thing that they both want. Now, here's an odd card. I'm going to really go with what they're telling me here. Now, this is the Four of Swords. I know it looks like the Two of Swords, but she's got two underneath her. And that's why she's called this deception. Now, why would somebody want deception? Well, what I find interesting is he wants the Six of Swords, right? To mentally move from choppy, turbulent water to calm waters here. So other cards will come out and clarify, and certainly in the extended, I'm sure this will be clarified before we're done here. Yeah, this will make itself obvious. Obviously, there's been some deception going on here, but this could definitely be somebody wanting to what? Four of Swords. Meditate, go inside, heal, face their own lies, illusions, deceptions, and delusions, but that perhaps were as a result of an interaction with this divine masculine rebel, right? To be disillusioned. When you put someone on a pedestal, for example, right? Or maybe it's like the seesaw thing. Either you push them down so you go up, or you push them up and you go down, right? That there's something here, but I feel like the divine masculine here is like, let's balance this out, right? Let's talk this out. There's communication here. And the thing about helping each other heal is that through the quantum entanglement of a soulmate contract, if one of them heals, the other one heals. Now, not always exactly the same thing at the same time, right? But if one is like, I don't know, if the divine feminine is doing emotional healing work, the divine masculine might be healing something in their finances, right? We're not in control of how that works. We can't heal ourselves specifically to heal. I know we think we can. I mean, Ho'oponopono comes close. If you don't know what Ho'oponopono is, that's a story for another time. So interesting. Let's keep going. What do they have? This should really illuminate. Well, she's got the Gemini card. Now, this could mean Gemini placement for the divine feminine, but could also mean third house, self-expression, right? Communication. And I feel like there is communication going on here. But what he's got is the Two of Wands. So yeah, there may be some planning here, but there's no action immediately. He's in a place of indecision, and I think that's why this mental journey is really what he wants. He might be a little too inflamed right now to make a wise, clear choice and decision, but I feel like this divine child has really good, brilliant communication skills, or at least can gather information, right? Gemini is an interesting card. I'll never forget. I can't remember the name of the astrologer I was working with, but she said Gemini is like a bee that goes from flower to flower to flower to flower to flower, and then creates something of its own from it. And they do that with information. They're good at puzzle pieces, right? Metaphorically speaking, and maybe even literally speaking. So, you know, if there is a lie, an illusion, a deception, or a delusion going on here, I don't think she wants that, but she wants that healed. She wants to move through that and has the ability to gather the information and express herself. Mutable air. This would also be the Knight of Wands, the one that rushes in, and maybe that's it. Maybe she will rush in with the speed of butterflies. Are freaking fast, man, unless you got a net. Funicello. Let's keep going. What is they thinking? Well, with the element of air that's predominant here, right? We got 3 air cards so far for them. Well, now here's a 4th. She's got the Witch, which is the card of the magician here. One thinking, at least coming into mental alignment is what they're saying. Like really, I mean, if I'm actually reading for another witch at this moment, then you know what I'm talking about. Draw down, right? But clear the element of air. Power of air, hear my plea, bless my mind with clarity, for the well-being of all and with harm to none, as I will it, so let it be done. I know, they should have hired me for Charmed, unfortunately. Unfortunately, they didn't know who I was. It would be great on something like that. You need a spell, give me a Post-it. So drawing down, right? Aligning with spirit. Definitely thinking about manifesting, and let us not forget, this is the divine child, yes. Air, fire, water, earth, but that light, she's drawing a cone of power down. That's spirit, right? The divine child here. Now, they just gave me with this Four of Swords, this deception thing, of course, the shadow attribute, an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. This might have been a negative force, right? Whatever has gone on here before with these two, or maybe something in the past, right? She's been lied to before. Who hasn't? He's got the Page of Swords, though, in the element of air. So he's thinking about communicating, whether he will or not. I would say Two of Wands, not yet. If ever, it's still in a if-when thing. Definitely there. Remember, this is soulmate. They're helping each other heal on some level. But it's really the only card that concerns me. No, there are two. The Four of Blades and the Two of Wands, right? That concerns me, but not overly so, not like in a toxic way. I just wonder what the lies, illusions, deceptions, and delusions are, and that's going to be a general read thing you're going to have to suss out for yourself. What's going on emotionally? How? Very interesting. Get ready for goat imagery, folks. She's got Pan in her, and this is the Emperor and the Hierophant. Fiona Morgan merges them into one card in this deck. You're a feminist, I get it, I would too. So in her heart, there is this sense of control, like her own divine masculine power, right, is within the emotional part of masculine energy, because come on, it's not all air and fire. I mean, it is air and fire, but really kind of like getting stronger, not taking control of her emotions, but not her emotions taking control of her either. This is also very much the divine masculine card in this deck, right? Like the Empress is the divine feminine. So this might also be that she's got, well, it is a soulmate connection, that this is the divine masculine, but it can be both, right? Because where does my masculine energy end and someone else's masculine energy begin in unity? You know what I'm saying? It's all just perspective. But he's got the King of Pentacles, and the reason why I say goat energy, that's Capricorn, and there's a goat on the card. I will stand up. I have pants on. Don't freak. Look, there, I'll do it this way. You can see them. Here are two little goats. Look, right next to each other, right? The goat and the goat. This is Pan, and this is the Capricorn card, King of Pentacles. So I find that interesting, right? That we've got the Emperor and the King with a goat there. So emotionally, there's really something very strong here, and that would make sense in a soulmate contract. But this King of Pentacles for me is slow and steady wins the race. Yes, to an extent, all of the Earth court cards are, because we're Earth. We may be the slowest moving, but we get it right. The King of Pentacles is really feeling the wealth depth. And it's interesting, like I said before, while she's healing, like she could be healing her emotions, which maybe, and he could be healing his finances. It's like that. It also speaks of a longer, more durable thing. Like, so if this has been on for a while, remember, this is a rebel. It may not be so easy for them to take the long haul, right? You know, rebels, it's usually very fiery, very impulsive. But if he's really willing to respect the boundaries, right? Because the shadow here is rejects rejects illegitimate authority. Well, she might have an emotional authority getting stronger in her. That's the thing about a divine child. Once you understand that we're all children of the divine, then you know it's like, don't make me call my dad, because it's all the same dad and it's all the same mom, because we're all one, right? 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 You told him a spiritual teacher. All right. Point of view of the soul, the card of spirit. Two of Pentacles, Two of Cups. The soul is saying to her, honey, get in balance. Get in balance, right? Balance this. There may be a lot of juggling going on here. And I got to say, with the amount of air in here, why wouldn't that be? It's sort of like get grounded, yes, divine child, have your connection to the divine. Pray, 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 but then go for a walk, right? Ground this stuff. This is the Scorpio, right? This feels like there is some emotional stuff going on here. Although he's the one with the water card, really. There's no other water here, but there is this thing of, with this divine masculine, with the Six of Swords going from turbulent to calm, that deception, I don't know, I just feel like she's evolving. And she's either saying, look, you've maintained the balance to go from a 2 to a 3, right? To build something, a foundation a bit more stable. But that of course is that's what I think. So I have to keep remember it's a general read, Mark. A reading for hundreds of thousands of people. If only that many people watch them. But that Two of Cups, the soul is saying, honey, there's an attraction here. Take a step. He's got to work this out. He's got to work this out with her. Because I mean, unless this is saying she wants to deceive him, I don't get that though. Although there is the witch in the air position here, and there is her ability to communicate. Look, they just gave me a whole other story. So this might not be for all of you. This might only be like for one of you. If you're the rebel, right? And there is this divine child, right, that might very much be needing your protection in some way, shape, or form, right? An ability to defend oneself against negative forces. Just keep an eye on your intuition. Really, really take the mental journey that you want here. It's okay that this feels a little iffy because we've got 3 2s on the table, and 2s are about choices, not necessarily life-changing decisions. Sure, you want to communicate, right? If you're thinking about it, I don't feel like that's a problem. I mean, Page of Swords also people will say is like spying, social media spying, right? Snooping, that kind of thing. And I could see that with a rebel archetype. But if this divine child, there might be something tricksy going on here, but I don't necessarily think it's wholly intentional, right? We're dealing with somebody's innocence here. Remember the light side, innocence, purity, and redemption suggests a special connection to the divine. And I would say regardless of whether in the light and the shadow, that's in potential there. So I don't feel, it's not 7 of Swords. You know what I mean? It's not that sneaky peeky, sticky wicky stuff. All right, they're saying, all right, this will make sense. Ready? Now here is the clause there in their soulmate contract with the bully. No attribute conceals deep fear behind physical abuse. Now, honestly, I gotta say, I don't see that that's what has gone on. If there might have been harsh words, but you know what? I'm not seeing 5 of Swords. Of course, that's going to play out differently for some of you, but now check the light attribute. Highlights your tendency to intimidate others. I think this is more the case. Helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. Look, this can play itself out so many different ways, and that's true with every single tarot reading that's ever been, right? That's why it's so much easier to read one person, which is what I've been doing for decades before I took this to YouTube, right? I know you can do a room full of people, but I can in on them one at a time. Let me put this together. They'll do this for me, right? So what do they want? She wants this lies, illusions, deceptions, delusions in some way, shape, or form, depending on the light or the shadow of the child archetype involved. 6 of Swords, he wants to move forward from more rougher water to calm water, from turbulence to peace. And remember, this is a soulmate contract, so why wouldn't there have been something intimidating going on here? Or maybe there was some verbal or physical abuse here. Now, I will say, it can also mean that both of them have been on the victim side of the bully and abuse thing, and therefore the rebel might really be indecisive about whether they want to do this. But the 2 of Cups is there. The soul is saying, the voice of the soul is saying, it's 2 of Cups. Take the next step, right? For her, I'm not getting that much. It might have been that the abuse was lies, illusions, deceptions, and delusions, more mental or emotional, but might have been verbal. Isn't that verbal abuse? Like if someone's lying to you or not telling you the whole truth or omitting something, isn't that sort of verbal abuse? I'm going to take that up with my guides later. It's a good point. I'll watch it show up in one of my books. And certainly what they have, right? The indecision, like she'll talk about it and she'll gather the information that she needs. You know, whether these 2 know each other or not, they're getting ready for something here. We got the Witch and the Page of Swords. I definitely feel like these 2 know each other, right? Can't not right now. The Emperor Hierophant with the King of Pentacles. Slow and steady wins the race over here. Emotionally, we'll get there, which is rare for a rebel, in my opinion. That definitely that stronger divine masculine aspect of her emotions, controlling her emotions. And remember, this is Scorpio, so that's not unheard of, right? It's like, oh, it's Scorpio who doesn't control their emotions. I mean, I've seen it, but the majority is, it's like, no one needs to know, right? You keep that stuff within yourself until you're ready to reveal it, and then as a sting all at once, right? And of course, with the 2 of Pentacles and the 2 of Cups, this is mirroring. So if you find yourself bouncing back and forth between these two, that happens in soulmate contract reads. There's a lot of mirroring that's going on. It's the holographic healing connection, right? And with that, his soul saying you love her, him, however that works out. Soul saying get yourself into a balance. This will move forward, but it's going to take, right? Like it's like charging at a bull, grabbing it by the horns and flipping over it, right? You have to be really stable to move forward on this, but she wants this clarified, and then these could very much be. Okay, thank you so much. End of the reading. Here we go. This bully archetype says why these are the fears that are bullying both of them. This could be about commitment. This could be about taking a risk. I mean, in the times that we're in, meeting anybody is tricky, right? So that could very much be what this is. That what she wants is to really confront these fears, Four of Swords it, because they're mental, right? It's just a thought. It's just a thought, but a belief is a thought that has been practiced, right? So there might be some unwinding that needs to go here, and it feels like that's exactly what he wants to. Thank you. And may the Scorpio collective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in this happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract with this divine feminine, with the divine child archetype, and this divine masculine with the rebel archetype, that they may help each other heal, grow, learn, become the best that they can be, and fulfill their roles in the divine plan for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. Hey, do me a favor. If you liked it, like it. You want more, subscribe. Feel like commenting, please do. I always read them. Otherwise, wishing you all the very best and the very blessed in this happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, satisfying sexual soulmate contract. My Scorpios, that's a lot of S's in one sentence.